It's been a year since I made my What's in My Camera Bag video on YouTube, and it is still one of my most watched videos every single month. So it's great to see you guys really enjoyed that video. However, since then, I have made some changes to my gear. So I thought it's about time that I make an updated version of that video showing you all the changes that I've made to my camera gear since a year ago, some of the stuff that I have added to my camera gear, and some of the stuff that I've gotten rid of since then. First of all, thanks very much for tuning in. If you are new here, let me introduce myself. I am Carolina Nari and I'm a wildlife photographer and photographic guide. On this channel, I post all about my adventures out in the bush, hosting guests on safari from all over the world, and a lot of tips and tricks along the way. A little side note before we get started, I have just launched the dates for my 2026 photographic safaris. So if you're keen to join me in the wild and learn from me live out in the field on safari, then check out the details in the link below. But let's get back to the important stuff, my camera gear. The absolute biggest change that I have made to my camera gear is the fact that I invested in my dream lens for wildlife photography, the 300 2.8. I love this lens so much. I did mention in the previous gear video that I used to shoot with a 300 2.8 but had to sell that when I switched to Sony and couldn't afford the 300 at the time. However, this is a lens that I have been keeping my eye on ever since it came out, and late last year I was fortunate enough to be able to save up enough money to finally buy this lens, and I couldn't be happier about it. However, I have gotten a lot of questions and people were wondering why the 300 is better than my previous 200-600 and why I decided to sell my 200-600 and not keep that as a second lens. So let me go through it and tell you my thought process with regards to these different lenses. First of all, the biggest difference between these two lenses is the f-stop. This lens goes to 2.8, while my 200-600 only went to f6.3 when fully zoomed in and 5.6 when zoomed out to 200. And as a wildlife photographer, I'm often shooting in low light conditions, early mornings, late afternoons, where having the 2.8 aperture makes a massive difference to how long I'm able to shoot for before my ISO goes up way too high. As I've spoken about in one of my previous videos about ISO, it is something that you shouldn't be too scared of, and with today's technology you can often deal with high levels of noise and grain in your photos in post-processing, and it isn't that big of a deal. However, with that being said, having a 2.8 aperture does make a difference. It is a massive difference shooting on 2.8 in low light situations versus shooting on 5.6 or 6.3 in low light situations. So that is the number one difference. And the 2.8 aperture also obviously gives me a much shallower depth of field, which also brings a lot better background separation. So that is a massive plus too. The other reason that I prefer this lens to the 200-600 is also that it is actually smaller and lighter. It's a little bit wider than the 200-600, but from a length point of view, it is smaller, and it is about, I think, 500 grams lighter or so. One of the ways that this has made a massive difference to me is being able to shoot handheld and even videoing handheld with the 300 and getting really nice stable footage. One contributing factor there is also the optic steady shot that the 300 has that is a little bit better than the 200-600 as well. But also I'm often shooting in vehicles where there's not always a lot of space, and I'm with guests where I don't want to take up too much space because I don't want to be in the way of my guests, and getting down into awkward angles and stuff sometimes, it has made a massive difference to have a small and lightweight lens that makes it easier for me to get the angles that I want. The only thing that I possibly miss about the 600 is obviously the versatility of being able to zoom in and out from 200 to 600 really quick, and I did really love that lens. However, I didn't really feel like that was a big enough reason to keep it in my camera bag together with the 300, because I just know myself well enough to know that I'll always be grabbing the 300 over the 200 and 600 anyway, and it would just end up standing on the shelf and I wouldn't use it too much. However, the 600 millimeters is obviously really nice, especially when you're photographing birds, and that is one thing that this lens will struggle with because the 300 is just a little bit too short for that. However, what I really enjoy with the prime lens like the 300, and what I find is that it's very versatile for other reasons. I'm able to get really nice close-up portraits when animals are close enough for that, and then I'm able to get more environmental shots with the animals in their environment, and I'm actually forced to do that more because I can't just zoom in and get the close-up when the animals are a little bit further away. And I enjoy that a lot more with my photography than being able to zoom in and out. I just enjoy the fact that I'm forced to get a little bit more creative with my composition and framing with the 300 than I was with my 200 to 600. And in general, the quality is obviously always going to be better with a prime lens, and for me that is a bigger priority than the versatility of a zoom lens. Another question I get asked a lot is the difference between the 400 2.8 and the 300 2.8 and which one I would recommend. And for me and my personal needs, the 300 just suits me a lot better than the 400. The biggest reason being that the 400 is a lot bigger and it is a heavy lens. It's a lightweight lens for being a 400 2.8, but it is a lot heavier than the 300 2.8, and I just don't find that the extra 100 mils that I get is worth that weight and size of the 400. And the times that I have been able to try out the lens, I love the quality, I love the focal length, but I do find it a little bit more difficult to handle. And as I said, especially being in small spaces like vehicles and stuff and not wanting to be in the way of my guests, this makes a massive difference. With the 300 2.8, I also do have a 1.4 teleconverter that I sometimes put on this lens, and then I get 420 millimeters f4, which I think covers those needs that I would have gotten from the 400 millimeters, and I'm still just having it in the small compact size. So that's what I do when I want a little bit of extra reach. I might get a 2x teleconverter eventually, because then I'll make it into a 600 f5.6, which is also really nice. So then I kind of have all three primes in one, just losing a little bit of light and a little bit of quality with the teleconverters, but I find that that is a much better trade-off than saving up for these other lenses, and especially when the size of them is a big thing for me. Another thing that I can mention on the 300 is that I have this Arca Swiss plate here from Small Rig, and the reason that I got this is because when I'm with Pangolin on the photo boats, then it's really nice to have this to be able to use the gimbals, but also this actually has a little compartment for an air tag, so I've got an air tag in here so that I know where my lens is at all times. I just find that gives me a little bit of peace of mind. Moving on to chat a little bit about bags. I still use and love my Shimoda Action X40, the women's edition, and highly recommend that for anyone who is looking for a really nice camera bag. I've used this now for 2 years and I couldn't imagine a better camera bag for my needs. If you are looking for a camera bag and you think about buying this, I do have an affiliate code with Shimoda, so if you use Nuri10 at checkout, you get 10% off and I get a little bit of commission, which I really appreciate, so I just thought I'd mention that. As much as I love my Shimoda camera bag for when I'm traveling and need to pack all my camera gear in one place and know that it's safe, it is a little bit too big for me to bring with me when I'm going on game drives and on safari on a daily basis. And that's why I decided to get a little bit of a smaller camera bag that I can have with me with all my essentials for the day-to-day stuff while out on safari without taking up too much space in the vehicle. And the bag that I decided to go for is a K&F concept. I think it's called the Urban Sling bag. And I have been so happy with this bag. It's been a game changer for me. And it's just a smaller camera bag that do have these inserts that you can adjust in here, and it fits my 24-70 with my A7 IV on it, and then also all the little small extra stuff that I might need when I'm out on game drive. Like in here I've got my extra batteries and memory cards and so on, my lens pen, and all the kind of small random stuff that you never know when you might need. And this way I'm able to keep my one camera and lens in here in case I need it, but since I have my wildlife lens and camera on my lap all the time anyway, I didn't really need a bag for that, and this solution has been fantastic and I'm really glad that I got this. So if you're going on safari and maybe have 2 camera bodies or have a lot of extra essentials that you want to bring with you on game drives but you don't want to bring your big camera bag, then something like this could be a really good idea. In here I also keep the teleconverter for the lens in case I need it. So that's also very helpful to have in there. And then another thing that is new to my camera gear, but I think I have mentioned it on the channel before, but that is this little action camera that I use for vlogging. This is the Insta360 Ace Pro. And it's what I use for all my vlogs out on safari. I used to use my phone for vlogging, but then I just found it so difficult to have all the footage for my vlogs on my phone and then also try to get for social media and everything. I just felt like I needed a separate camera for vlogging. And I feel that my A7 IV with the 24-70, which is what I'm filming on at the moment, I just feel that that would be a little bit too big and bulky to have with me out on game drive. And that's why I got this action camera, and I'm very, very happy with it. I think the quality has been good, and for what I'm using it for vlogging, it's just been great. I also got this Gorilla Pod that I'm able to just put on the side of the vehicle. I kind of clamp it onto one of the bars on the vehicle, and then I have the camera there ready to go, and I just press record whenever I need to. So it's really nice and convenient for me for vlogging and being out in the field when I never really know when the next thing will happen, and I want to be able to kind of comment live as something is happening. And for this little vlogging setup, I actually got new microphones, as you can see here. I used to have the Rode Wireless Me, which I really enjoyed. I thought they were great, but the battery life wasn't too great. So I actually ended up getting the DJI mini mics, and they come in this little charging case that I think is really cute. There's two of them, and then there's the receiver that I've got on the camera at the moment, and obviously the other microphone here. And a few things that I really like about these is that, one, they are tiny, so they're quite nice and discreet that way. And they also have this magnet on the back here, and that just makes it so much easier to put it in a good spot and not just having to clip it on to the side of the shirt all the time. So I've been really, really happy with these. Another thing is also that they have noise cancelling. So it's been really nice to be able to film these videos without having to worry about too much about the noise around me and just putting it on noise cancelling. Next up, I've got this little tool here that I actually got as a Christmas gift from my fiance Craig. And this has been really handy because it has all these different sized Allen keys here. And as we all know, this is pretty much the #1 thing that you need for your camera gear when you're changing different plates to different lenses and so on. So this has been super, super helpful to have. And then moving on to a few things that maybe isn't too much camera related, more safari related, but I can really recommend getting if you are going on a safari. And the first thing that I'd like to mention is this buff that I got. I got this on a boat trip in Namibia the one time, but then I've started using it now this year because one of my guests actually recommended me to use a buff for all the dust when you're out on safari, and it's been a game changer. I know I'm not the first one to do this, but I can't believe I haven't been doing it sooner. But having a buff to make sure that you're not breathing in dust constantly when you're driving in dry conditions is amazing. And then on hot days, what I do is I just wet it a little bit with water and then put it on over me, and then the wind chill from driving in the open vehicle cools me down so nicely. So I've been really, really happy with using this buff and can 100% recommend that if you're going on safari in a dry and hot place, this is essential. And talking about two other essentials that I often get questions from my guests about is these two little sticks here. The orange one is a sunblock and the blue one is Peaceful Sleep, which is a mosquito repellent. And they are both these small little sticks like this that you can just put on your face just like this for sunblock, and then obviously for mosquito repellent. And I've been so happy with these because they are so small and easy to travel with. So highly recommend getting something equivalent if you have it in your country. These were obviously both bought in South Africa, and the one is from Island Tribe, that's the sunblock, and then it's Peaceful Sleep, which is the mosquito repellent. And then lastly, one thing that I did end up getting that I mentioned in the last video as well was that I got a new tripod, and I did end up getting the travel tripod from Peak Design, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm actually using it right now, so I'll show you guys in a little separate video what it looks like. As I've mentioned before, I don't use a lot of tripods or monopods because they are just really inconvenient when you're in a vehicle, so I never use them for wildlife photography. I just have them for stuff like this when I need to film myself, or if I'm doing a bit of landscape or astrophotography every now and then. So I'm not a tripod expert, and I don't really feel comfortable recommending specific tripods, but for my needs and for what I'm using this tripod for, it's been fantastic, especially because it is a very small and compact tripod that is easy to travel with, and that's been my main thing. And that is it for this time. We'll see, maybe in a year from now, I'll give you guys a new update of what's new in my camera bag. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or anything that you're wondering, please feel free to drop a comment below. Would love to hear from you guys and what else you would like to see on the channel. And as always, thanks so much for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next one.